What about it, you? That you cannot become your enemy. You cannot fight fire with fire. You cannot LARP around like someone who rejects Jesus, adopting every one of their uh, attitudes of racism, of intolerance, of accusatory crap, of victimhood identity, the rest of it. Okay, if you're a Christian and you've got a relationship with God, and you're trying to and you're conscious of your daily walk, then you're not worried about the small stuff. You're not sweating it. Um, God is all powerful. God can put a circle of armor and protection around you. And if something does happen to you, well, look at, I guess, whatever. Look at Job, or look at it. You never lose your love, and you never lose sight of how you can react in a positive or in a goodly or a righteous way. You don't lose track of that. You don't let circumstances or gaslighting or foreign uh, operations, you don't get caught up in that stuff, because you're centered in the Lord. Okay? That's what I'm hoping that people will figure out, is to become centered in the Lord and stop worrying so much. Yeah, there is dangers, and yeah, hopefully there's things that you can do to ultimately it's about you getting to God's kingdom, and ultimately it's about you trying to help God, who's being patient right now, help God to lead others to his kingdom. That's the big win. So forget about everything else. That's the big win, is you get into God's kingdom. It's not going to matter. Certainly, it will matter if you don't get this right. Actually, I shouldn't say it won't matter, because it will. It will matter. Everything you do has a ripple. There's people who have passed on, or I mean, near-death experiences, come back, and I should try to find those and link them in the description. But they'll talk about how while they're in this other dimension, whatever, and they'll talk about how they're able to see their life. They're given a life review. And a lot of them will talk about how they see not only the good and the bad choices that they made, but they see the ripple of all those good and bad choices. When they're ugly to somebody, they see how that affected that person. And it's something that is condemning. It's something that is scary and unnerving, because in some way you're almost judging yourself, or you're realizing that there was huge ramifications for some of your mistakes and deeds, and that it's not forgotten, and that you need to repent and you need to turn away from those things so that you can be washed clean and that you can move forward in the Lord. So I'm hoping if somebody out there can meme, I would love to create a meme where there's a chessboard and you've got Jesus and you've got the devil or Satan, and you've got this chessboard, and then indicative of all the pieces on it, right? So on the devil's side, the queen would actually be the small hats, not the king, the queen. And the king would be satanic ritualism, which that's got to be protected at all costs. Satanism, satanic ritualism, from the devil's point of view, from Satan's point of view, has to be protected at all costs. He'll sell out the hoe, his hoe beside him, if he has to. But that's what I'm saying. The meme would have the devil using different pawns. Imagine you could get the Masons in there. I'm not sure exactly where I would assign everybody, but you've got knights and rooks, and Masons would be right there close. And you could create a chessboard that had the devil's players against Jesus. And you might say, like, so here's my thing. Wouldn't the best way to go against the queen, instead of just trying to run at the queen being a bunch of pawns that just get killed off because you're ineffective against the queen, instead of that, wouldn't it make more sense if you turned the queen against her king? If you converted Israel and the Jews to Christianity? If you spread the message of love and undermined it from the heart? Okay? And that may be an argument if, in this meme situation. Let's say that you made Jesus have the king be the church of Christianity. Okay? Big, wide, broad spectrum. And the wife would be, say, Catholicism. And hasn't she been turned against her king to some degree? Isn't there some subversion there? So, can't you learn from your enemy to be smart enough to crash his network from within? Can't you be smart enough to not fall into all the traps that are laid, so that you end up just killing off your side of it because you're not paying attention? You think you're doing something, but you're just actually playing into everything that was planned for you to play into. The idea was that you would be emotive. The idea is that you could be triggered. The idea is that you could be gaslit, and that you would go out into the world with a mean spirit. That's what you were meant for. That's what's been planned for you. And knowing that mean spirit and its fruits can only bring forth what? Pain, suffering, heartache, destruction. So that's you now. So while you're complaining about them you're doing it. So isn't that beautiful for them? They can just sit back and watch you dig your own grave. Literally and spiritually. Physically and spiritually. So, wise up. Don't be so foolish. You know somewhere deep down in your heart that Jesus has a message of love. Do unto others. Okay? So, it's not, let's go turn over tables everywhere and show our ass for the money changers or whatever argument you're trying to make. There's a time and a place. And there's who you are on the chessboard. You're not Jesus. You might be a pawn. But which side are you working for? Who's moving you around on the board? You may not even know. The whole time you think it's you. So if you've got some faith in the Lord, some real faith in the Lord, then you won't worry about the small stuff. Things are going to play out the way they're going to play out. And your best chance here and there is to improve your walk. And it's not easy. I mean, I see stuff all the time, and I want to be triggered. I want to get angry. You know, I see stuff all the time that makes me want to be angry. But I'm getting better at catching myself and not falling into that anger and not making decisions based upon that anger. So I hope that I can spread this message to people before they fall into a trap, before you get put on a list, before you get rounded up and everyone claps and cheers because you were just some kind of hateful, racist, anti-Semite. That's the trick. Don't fall into the trap. All right, God bless.